I guess my job is to say welcome. Welcome everybody to this presentation. I'm going to take you through some of the interesting areas of human life, which is emotion. You can see my name, I'm Muhammed Rizard, an MBA student at PIM, University of Sri Jayawardenepura. Before I go into detail to the subjects, let me play with you your perception. You guys tell me, when do you think your emotion had started its journey on you? When do you think? Yes, ma'am, you want to say something? Yeah. You say? Okay. She says, it was childhood. If I tell this, you might be surprised sometimes. I would say, emotion had started its journey when you cried first time after your mother had given a birth. It's interesting, you know? Yeah, it's interesting for me too. So, don't think emotion is simple. Emotion is like an Iceberg Syndrome. What you see is a smaller part on the surface. There are lots of myths and depth inside. Probably a person. So with that note, I take you to the subject. What is emotional intelligence? Before we come to emotional intelligence, I'll ask you something. I'll tell you something, in fact, too. Emotional intelligence is an inbuilt process. It's coming all the day with you. You started crying after your mother had given a birth. You started. So it's coming with you all the time. So you cannot avoid it. It's like a shadow with you. More than a shadow, because shadow won't come in dusk. Emotional intelligence is an individuality of an individual. It's not the same to everybody. You can't feel what I feel right now. I'll tell you an example. A child who messed up bedroom. Mother comes and say, oh my God, I just prepared an hour time to make this feel. You just messed it up. And then mother punishes its baby, their baby. Alright? Then another mom comes and says, oh my God, what a child are you? You are very naughty, my baby, and took the baby and kissed the baby. See, two different types of emotion. It's not the same. That's why researchers put lots of efforts to study on emotion, because it differs person to person. And they say emotional intelligence plays a big role and create impacts on decision making. Now I'll come to definition. I'll introduce a person. Daniel Goleman is one of the guru on emotional intelligence. He says, how will we are managing ourselves through self-awareness, self-management, self-motivation, and empathy, through of which you maintain a greater relationship, is called emotional intelligence. Interesting definition, I would say. Okay, I will take you through some of the emotional pictures and see how you react to it. What is he doing? She's begging on the roadside. Okay? Yes, ma'am, you want to say something? What is she doing? Yeah? Okay. She is pity about her. Okay? And, sir, yeah, please, go ahead. Okay? He says, we should not encourage people like this because we are breaking their hopes. Interesting. So, two different emotions. Another one. It's all gameplay, alright? Military man kicking on the civilian's house door. What would you react? Yes, ma'am, you want to say? Yeah. She says he's doing his job. Interesting. Yes, sir. Okay. He says it's a human rights violation. No, I don't want to come to that area. That's a different one. What is this guy doing? This guy is pulling his hair. Seems to be frustrated. Seems to be a working professional. I would say something before you feel. great leaders, they will take great decision on when they are bad. Oh my God, romancing on a beautiful sunset. Okay, an evening time. Imagination is up to you. I don't want to hear your emotions. All right, mood meter. This is one of the interesting concepts developed by Mark Brackett, one of the greatest strategists on psychology at Yale University Psychology Department. He's the director of that department. He developed two factors theory. One is energy level, another one is pleasantness. Energy level is purely based on your stamina and body conditions. Pleasantness is all about how mindful are you to accept circumstances. He developed 4 quadrants. Okay, red one says your energy level is high, but you're not fit to that situation. Mine says, okay, no, I want to get back. Okay, what do you feel on this? Afraid, annoyed. Just an example. Okay, blue one, your energy level is low, at the same time person is low. So how do you feel on this? Sad, bored. I would say, relax, guys. Don't do anything on this stage when you are at this quadrant, or do something to move to any of the areas. Okay? Green one. What do you expect on green one? I would say pleasant is high, but your energy levels, you can do something, right? It's commonly acceptable, the green quadrant. Okay? How do you feel on this? You feel tired, you feel sorrow. Okay? Yellow one, what it says is most interesting areas where you feel excited, pleased. Wow, I want to do this. Amazing, excellent. You feel like that. When you're feeling that, your energy level is also high. At the same time, pleasantness is very high. Okay? Now, I'll tell you what you can learn from this mood meter. I'll tell you 2 things you can learn, right? One is, you should be able to fix your mood any of the quadrants, and you should be able to strategize how you can shift the mood to your preferred zone. Okay? Now, strategize is important. Alright, you have to strategize, you have to tackle your emotions. First of all, you have to recognize emotion in yourself and others. How do you recognize? I'll tell you, wife sees her husband coming from office, looking at his facial reactions, body languages, and vocal tone. He is so dull. Alright? Then, she feels that something happened to him. So what causes happened to him to come to this level, to this mood? So it could be he might have attended extra meetings, few meetings extra on a day, or he might have traveled a lot to meet clients. He might have involved in problem-solving issues with employees. Now you have to label your emotion. You have to name your emotion. You feel it, okay? What do you say on this? Whether you say sad, whether you say anxiety, or whether you say dull or frustration, what you are saying on that? So you have to name it, then only you can tame it. Expressing emotions appropriately. This is one of the interesting factors, that you have to express the emotion. You have to put your hand on your husband's shoulder and ask him, darling, what happened? What's really happening with you? You are looking down. Just go and relax. Have a bath and go and relax. Okay. Then, wife does, she makes a coffee and give it to her husband to regulate emotion, to strategize your emotion. Then a kiss can regulate emotion for a wife giving to her husband. A married man can understand this, okay? It's important to measure your emotional intelligence. There are 3 ways you can measure your emotional intelligence. Ask them personally. When you're in a close relationship, husband and wife, you can ask your wife or husband, what's happening with you? So why you are looking down? You can ask these things, okay? Then empathy. you have to wear other shoes and feel what others feel on your behalf. Alright? Most of the fathers nowadays always feel empathy when their daughters growing old. Interesting, because they cannot go and ask directly what's happening with you, what changes. You are changing every day. What's happening with you? They cannot ask. They feel empathy. Then research. Most of the companies who have lots of employees, more than 500, 600 employees, they do emotional intelligence tests for the employees to understand their emotions. They might have different level of managers. Important to them to understand their emotional intelligence for leaders. At the same time, banking sector, they do custom emotional intelligence surveys. So, research. Okay guys, it's one of the critical area. Emotional intelligence, how impact on audiences. I have taken 4 audience group. One is students. Let's see this. Emotional intelligence can give students less anxiety. Emotional intelligence can make any students less aggressive. Emotional intelligence can make a student less depression. In outer world, with their skills, they can nurture their leadership skills. All right? They can be more attentive and less hyperactive in schools, perform better academically. I can tell you my personal life example. When I was ready for the exam for advanced level in 2005 April, before 3 months, tsunami devastated everything. I was really down. I was really depressed because we lost many things. You know everyone. Okay? Now, my mother had involved on myself, and they called some intelligence people who were nurtured with lots of emotional intelligence. They came to me, they advised me to go for an exam. I was in a mood to abandon the exam, but they nurtured me, they told me, they advised in many ways. I sent for the exam, I got through the exam, I was selected for the university and finished my degree. Emotional intelligence with teachers. Emotional intelligence can feel a positive attitude about teaching for teachers. Emotional intelligence can give a greater job satisfaction for teachers. They can feel less stress as well through higher emotional intelligence. While managers and leaders with high emotional intelligence, they can feel expressive. They are so sensitive and feel empathy. They have to realize the subordinates' problems if they are highly emotional intelligence. They are great leaders. They tend to be great leaders if they have higher emotional intelligence. Most of the US companies fail because they don't have high emotional intelligence leaders. So think about it. Then teams. You can increase your team cohesiveness. Yes, and within a team you can perform better within a short time. This is one of the biggest area how you develop your emotional intelligence. Emotions are born with nature, but if you have negative emotional intelligence, you can nurture as well. How you can nurture? You put yourself some rules. If you're in anger, you put yourself, what do you? Or if I'm in anger, I would say, no, I don't want to talk to anybody else if I'm in anger mood. Alright? Or you just drink a cup of water. Okay? And then if you are depressed, okay, you just go and meet some intelligence people to advise on you. Alright? So you put rulers. I'll tell you my personal example on emotional intelligence, how you can nurture it. My colleague who was working with me in my company, he says, Rizard, I lost 2 kg in a day. How did it happen? I asked. With lots of surprise. He said, no, I went for site surveys, underground railway projects. Imagine Qatar's temperature, 45 degrees typically. So he worked for 12 hours a day, then he lost 2 kgs with lots of sweating and all that stuff. What did you do? I asked. Why did you come today? He said, I just went and jumped into swimming pool, and I don't know how many hours I spent with that. So he's reducing stress level. So if you do that, you can feel this kind of results. You can better health, high quality performance, and social competence. Imagine this guy. This guy is Abraham Lincoln. He wrote to his son's teacher, my son is new to the world, take care generally, and the world, if the world is full of adventures, you have wars, you have tragedy, and you have sorrow. Teach him courage, love, and faith. So he's talking about the first sentence in the letter about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence in a nutshell. I'm going to wrap up the session. Emotional intelligence is important to parents to understand their children's mindset. Emotional intelligence is important to their parents to talk to their children. Emotional intelligence is important for the teachers to increase the effectiveness, and emotional intelligence is important to the leaders to inspire and lead their subordinates. Well, emotional intelligence is an identity of an individual. Emotional intelligence is an individuality of an individual. How you take care of your self-esteem, the same way you have to take care of your emotional intelligence. The parents, not only they take care of their children, they are also transferring emotion and feelings to their children by generation. With that note, I'll wrap up my presentations. Thank you very much for your attendance and interest. Wishing you to have a great time ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.